Yep, gonna have to move it out this way. Probably should have done that in the first place. Square. Hope it is square. Alright. So, let me check the minutes on this thing, see if it's still recording. It is. Well, I just found out something. I found out where my dad put this thing. This is what's going to give me the angled cuts. On the other section. And actually, oops, that thing's missing a nut. I was actually thinking of using this concept right here to actually use to fold up the device, or the console. It's basically just a hinge here, and it has a butterfly nut here and a somewhat of a butterfly nut here, and you bring it out to where you want it, and then you lock down the butterfly nut, and that'll keep the upright correct, correct in place. So it'll be something like, it'll actually be something like that. And then also for the desktop, where you put the steering wheel. I was thinking of doing the same thing up here. You do that up here, and you can adjust it up and down this way. So I was thinking of doing that, but to each his own. Like I said, let's see if I can find. If I could find a nut for this thing. I'm sure my dad would be glad about that. And just like that. Another butterfly nut, but it should work. I have big fingers, so it's kind of hard for me to get it in there. But perseverance wins. And that butterfly nut is just wide enough that I don't have to worry about actually tightening it too much. So that's good. Now, next cut. Since we now have the cross pieces, these are going to be going across. So now I actually need to make the little pieces that go between. Now those, they called for 5 16.5. I'm assuming it's those. They don't exactly show. They show on here, on the last page that they made up with the parts list. But I believe, yeah, this first picture only shows 4. Same with the second picture. It only shows 4. So somewhere between these sheets, they decided to make 5 instead of 4. Well, with that in mind, I can put these here. And I can grab, what should I do? This is going to be a face. I believe this little one was already close to 30 inches. I need to put that damn thing in the same place every time. Here we go. This piece is 44 inches. So I can actually use this for 2 of the 16.5 inchers, which is actually phenomenal because that's going to save me in the long run. So let me get the pencil. Now let's mark this down. Well, guess what? The best side is actually the worst side. This side has a nice long crack. Actually, the whole thing is pretty much cracked. That whole entire corner is going to come off, I think. But it doesn't matter because it's going under the device in the first place. Let me go get this. Cobwebs. Alright. Actually, that is the better side, so I will use it from this side. And actually, I might actually take off 2 inches there. Let's see. I said it was 44. 2 16s is... Let's see, 16.5 is right there. And another 16.5 is right there. So yeah, I'm gonna chop off a good, there's a knot right here, so that's actually 4 inches right there. So let's see, 16.5 is right here, and then another 16.5 is actually pretty darn good. Right before another knot. So that's actually perfect. So now I need, I'll take this. And I'll just line it up, that one up, and I'll line that one doesn't matter. Alright, so here goes the two 16s, and it's definitely warped, twisted, and actually, put this way, get this cut out of the way. I'll leave it a little long. I actually cut that in at 4, but you know what? I bet you I could have cut that. I could have done that at the 4 3/4 mark. And I could have got myself another brick out of there, because there's a 4 3/4 brick in there. But if you have, like I said, if you have 4 8-foot 2x4s, you've got all the wood you need for the structure. Now, this back on. And we'll measure it to 16.5. I am leaving my pieces just a shy long. It looks like the blade is 1/8 of an inch thick, so it's going to be making roughly 1/8 of an inch. Oh shoot, that moved. Forgot to lock it down. So I'm putting it right on the 16.5, but what I'm doing is I'm actually putting it between the the half mark, between the half mark and the next eighth. Right between there on that little 16th line. And so that should make the board perfect size, but we all know that doesn't always happen. It looks like I cut that a little askew. Probably because this thing is so out of whack anyways. Well, actually it looks like I might be able to cut off a little bit more. So I think I'll do that. I still don't think that's right. No, Dad, one of your things is off center. Well, let's find out. Put this back here. Oh yeah, Dad, that's way off. I think you need to fix this, Dad. Oh, man, Dad, that is just awful. Alright, you know what? Where's the pencil? I'm just going to freehand it. Okay. Alright, what I did is I found out that I'm going to have more than Well, see, this piece is still fairly cracked a lot, so I might end up not using it, but it's 4 3/4, so I can use it later. So here's 2 of the 16.5. Now we need 3 more 16.5s. Look at that. That piece just fell right apart. A little piece of crap. Actually, it might not be a piece of crap because look at it. It's almost a perfect little bracket to hold something down. So I might actually keep that piece. I might shave it down a little bit. Alright, I need a pencil. I'm going to take this, I'm going to rip it down. I'm going to make this 4 3/4 right there. Get it closer to the edge. Actually, I'll put it. Okay, 4 3/4. I'm going to do the 16. I'll do it after I cut it. This is kind of a long board to cut, but on such a little table, it's probably safer to nail it down or pin it down with something, and then do it. And you know what? I got a solution. Hon, can you come here, please? I need you to hold it. Hold the piece of wood. All the way at the end. Hold it up. Alright, thank you, hon.
Where's your camera?
Huh?
Where's your camera?
Alright. Now, 16 inches, 16.5 inches. Where did it? Alright. Now, 16.5. It's right there. I'll go ahead and cut that now. Let's move this piece of crap out of the way. Just about perfect. Okay. Let's get it. notice I'm actually measuring each and every one of them. I'm not taking the previous one and marking it with the previous one. Simply because if you do that, eventually your boards are going to get longer and longer and longer and longer and longer and longer. And that's actually what happened to my dad when he was putting up the fence. He was making sure everything was all in line, but he wasn't taking in account of how level it was. So his boards kept getting longer and longer and longer, and it got to this point where we're like, it's kind of sideways, kind of diagonal. So, like the saying is, check twice, cut once. In my case, cut 5 times, and we'll Alright. Now, my dad does have a sander, rotary sander. Actually, it's an orbital sander, I think. It's not a DA sander. But I will be sanding these. Maybe. I might just throw it together, not worry about it. Alright, so that's now 4. So here's my 5th one. My 15th, or my 5th, 16 and 1/2. Actually, I know I did it, but you know what? I have a bad memory. Yeah, 16 and 1/2. That's 5. So now we could actually, if we wanted to, put the base together. Or in this case, you know what, I didn't even notice that. This thing has one more screw in it. Always make sure that your wood is free of metal, so you don't screw up the blade or anything else of your tools. Unfortunately for me, these screws are at an angle. They're all stripped. That's why I noticed that. That's why I got some extra wood, just in case. But that's not coming out. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to lop off that end. It's going at an angle this direction, so if I cut into it, you cut a inch or so off of it, it's not going to hurt the blade. Just have to make sure I cut enough that I miss it. I don't want to cut too much though. I want to use as much board as I can. I think I'll go with roughly a 2-inch cut.